In between, we cheer for the black basketball coach, right? So Dikembe Mutombo played for one of the premier coaches in the world, one of the best coaches of all time, John Thompson, who again is another one of my heroes. So I told my dad tonight that I was going to be introducing Dikembe Mutombo, and he said, "Mark, okay, let me give you 3 instructions here. I want you to do 3 things. I want you to be knowledgeable about your topic. I want you to be passionate like you typically are, and then I want you to be seated afterwards, okay? Because you've got a tendency to be long-winded. So, but at this time, this is one of those situations where I wanted to make sure I did Dikembe justice. A lot of times, a lot of people here have been getting abbreviated autobiographies here because there's so many amazing people here. But I wanted to take my time to make sure that I didn't leave anything out, and I'm sure I'm going to. Because beyond Dikembe Mutombo's basketball abilities, most people that are basketball fans know that, but if you're a real true person that really understands global initiatives in the world, you know that Dikembe Mutombo is much more than a basketball player. And that's why it's important for me to make sure that I communicate with you all just the impact this man has made in our lives and in the world. So what I want to do is I want to kind of give you a synopsis about who Dikembe Mutombo is and what he's done. Dikembe Mutombo was born in the Democratic Republic of Congo. He's one of 12 children. He speaks English, French, Spanish, Portuguese, and 5 Central African dialects. As I mentioned, he graduated from Georgetown with a degree in linguistics and diplomacy. And while he was at Georgetown University, he became one of the greatest centers of all time, playing with Alonzo Mourning and creating 2 of the best duos in college basketball history. He was the 4th pick in the 1991 NBA draft. He played 18 seasons for 6 teams: the Nuggets, the Sixers, the Knicks, the Nets, the Hawks, and the Rockets. He's one of the greatest shot blockers and defensive players of all time. He's a 4-time Defensive Player of the Year, 8-time NBA All-Star. He's 2nd all-time in block shots behind Hakeem Olajuwon, who's also from Nigeria, ironically. So the top 2 block shot people in the NBA of all time are from Africa, which is amazing. He's the 2nd-time All-Star. He also leads the NBA's all-time career triple-doubles. He's 2nd all-time, and his number is retired. Number 55 is retired with the Nuggets and the Hawks. So that's his basketball playing abilities and basketball prowess. That's just simply amazing. But the humanitarian part is what really opened my eyes. I knew that he did a lot, and I remember the thing that really struck me when he was in college and he was going to the NBA. He talked about giving back to his homeland. And a lot of times you hear athletes that give back, and then sometimes you hear athletes that don't do enough. And athletes get really criticized in the media for making so much money and not giving back. And when you have people like Dikembe Mutombo that's giving back, you know, at first you kind of like, okay, that sounds nice, he's doing a couple of things, but when you see the consistency and the body of work that you've seen in his basketball ability, his basketball playing days, I don't think that it comes close to what he's done in terms of being a humanitarian. It's just amazing. So I'm going to read some of the things that this man has done. And some of you are probably aware of some of this, and some of you aren't. But I'm going to break it down for you, okay? As I said, Dikembe Mutombo is a well-known humanitarian. He started the Dikembe Mutombo Foundation to improve living conditions in the Congo in 1997. His efforts earned him the NBA's Walter Kennedy Citizenship Award in 2001 and 2009. Sporting News named him one of the good guys in sports in 1999 and 2000. And he also was elected one of 20 winners of the President's Service Awards, the nation's highest honor for volunteer service. Dikembe Mutombo participated in Basketball Without Borders program with the NBA, touring Africa to spread the word about basketball. He also paid for uniforms and expenses for the Zaire women's basketball team during the 1996 Olympic Games in Atlanta. He's also the spokesman for the International Relief Agency CARE. He's also a lifetime supporter of the Special Olympics and currently a member of the Special Olympics International Board of Directors as well as Global Ambassador. He has been a pioneer in unified sports, which brings together people with and without intellectual disabilities. He also played in the Unity Cup in South Africa before the 2010 World Cup quarterfinal along with South African President Jacob Zuma and Special Olympic athletes from around the world. In 1997, Mutombo, with the Mutombo Foundation, began plans to open a 29,300,000-bed hospital in his hometown of Congolese, and named after his mother, Biamba Marie Mutombo Hospital, in memory of her, which opened in September of 2006, and is the first modern medical facility to be built in the area in nearly 40 years. In honor of his humanitarianism, Mutombo was invited by President George W. Bush of 2007 State of the Address of the Union when he referred to Mutombo as the son of the Congo. And so Mutombo was very moved by that, because there's not a lot, I don't think there's ever been an athlete invited to the State of the Union address before. So that was pretty phenomenal. I remember that. And in 2011, Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health awarded Dikembe Mutombo the Goodermote Humanitarian Award for his efforts to reduce polio globally, as well as his work improving health in neglected, underserved populations in the Congo. In 2012, the Mutombo Foundation partnered with his alma mater, Georgetown University, and began a new initiative which provides care for visually impaired children from low-income families in Washington, D.C. area. And my first introduction to Dikembe Mutombo, after all this and me playing college basketball and running track in college, I'd never met him before. What our paths crossed, because you never know when you're going to meet someone of this caliber. And every year I go to the Basketball Hall of Fame, and Dikembe Mutombo was awarded the highest honor in basketball, being inducted to the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame, and that's where I met Dikembe Mutombo. And what I want to do now is, before I show a video to kind of illustrate the work that he's done, I want to show you, he obviously has some great moves on the court, and he's demonstrated amazing moves off the court in terms of humanitarianism, but one of the things you haven't seen is his moves off the court in terms of his dancing abilities. Okay? So I captured this. He had a private reception. I played this before him today, so he wouldn't be surprised by it. Like, where'd you get this from? And no TMZ's not in here, right?
Right.
But I assure you, his moves on the court and off the court are something to be desired, because the man can go off the court as well. So I want to show this little quick video of Mutombo at a private reception with his family getting down. Okay, here we go.
Look up, baby. Toodle toodle. You're so willing. Look up, baby. Toodle toodle. Look up, baby.
And can you tell which one Mutombo is?
Yeah.
As you can see, he obviously has great moves off the court as well, and I wanted to share that with you, so I thought that would put some smiles on your faces and as well. And thank you for making this happen for me. So, but right now, let's be more serious about this. I want to show a quick video of the work that this man has done, and the video provided by the foundation. And I want you guys to take a look at this, because it's very powerful.
Dikembe Mutombo. The name evokes many different images and feelings in many different people around the world. Of course, the finger wave, an intense competitor, a man of great intelligence, character, and heart, the ultimate humanitarian. And now, the recipient of a tremendous and permanent honor, his number 55, retired by his beloved Atlanta Hawks. Dikembe is a basketball immortal, inducted into the Naismith Hall of Fame this year. He's second in NBA history in block shots, a 4-time NBA Defensive Player of the Year, an 8-time All-Star, and just as impressively, the only 2-time winner of the NBA's prestigious J. Walter Kennedy Citizenship Award, and the NBA's first ever global ambassador, appointed by David Stern. His accomplishments on the court are significant, and his impact off of it is enormous. In short, Dikembe took the gifts and talent he was given and works incredibly hard to make the lives of others better.
Dikembe Mutombo is a marvelous human being. He has a big heart. He backs up what he says. And what he's doing here in the Democratic Republic of the Congo is nothing short of miraculous. I'm really impressed with the hospital. I'm impressed because it's clean, because it has systems that operate, because the facilities are first class. He's making an effort to provide top quality care to men, women, and children of the DRC in a sustainable manner. It's one of the big problems on the African continent. And I've been working in Africa, different African countries, primarily in Zambia for the past 12 years as a gynecologic cancer surgeon and helping to try to figure out how to implement cervical cancer screening and treatment services in this environment, because cervical cancer is the #1 cancer killer of African women. What has impressed me most about Dikembe is that he has a system where everything works. The doctors seem and nurses seem to know what their terms of responsibilities are. So he has a system, and people seem to be motivated. And I'm sure some of the motivation that comes about is the fact that the healthcare provider has what he or she needs in order to deliver the care. So he has a model. He has a system, and I think it's a model that can be used to implement other healthcare services around the continent. And again, that's a business model. We take surgeons and nurses from a particular country. Say we took some of Dikembe's nurses and doctors, and they actually came to Zambia. They worked in our clinics, our cancer prevention and treatment clinics, shoulder to shoulder, hands-on, with our nurses and doctors, learning how we screen and treat women for cervical cancer. The DRC has very high rates. We found that 1 out of every 10 women that we've screened so far has a positive screening test. We found about 3 out of every 100 women that we screen actually have cancer. That's high. That's very high. That's like every 100 women walking around, you get that 100, you screen them, you don't find 3 cancer. That is extremely high. But it's been an unscreened, underserved population, which has made this week a success in support of the government and the support of UNFPA. UNFPA has just been extremely supportive, and without that, this never would have happened. And they're committed to continuing this work, so the work won't end.
Dikembe has a huge heart, and he wants to help his people of the Congo, and it is so obvious in all that he does.
He was an NBA basketball player. He was very successful. He could be doing anything with his life right now, but yet he is here right now in the Congo with us and has been completely instrumental in making this trip a success.
I always knew that I already had the passion to go back home and do something very significant. Then I realized that there was nothing else what I was doing. I said I had to do something very monumental where it can help the world. And then now you see, such an organization with only organized by women. That's very strong. And those are the lessons that we need to show to our young girls and daughters. These what women are doing, the services that they are providing to humanity.
We want to leave the places we visit a better place, and helping to teach the doctors, the nurses, the therapists, the x-ray techs. We want to leave them with something that they can use when we're gone.
The people here are so eager to learn, so interested, and so willing to gain knowledge.
And they come to share, the knowledge with us, the greater we become, so that our patients will get this kind of treatment that they need.
To see all those moms being able to have surgery, to be able to walk the same day, a few hours later.
And when they walk, they're empowered. When they're empowered, their family's empowered. When their family's empowered, their community's empowered. And it's just a ripple effect that is incredible.
Pretty powerful. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Dikembe Mutombo. I'm going to have Dr. Fosi and Dr. Watt come up and present your word to Dikembe. Let's stand in front of the podium so that we all can take a picture together there.
Oops. Sorry.
This side, which side?
Look this side, please. Oh, Will. That's bad.
Sorry. Sorry. Wow. Take myself.
First I want to say, I want to thank God Almighty for allowing me to be here today, for blessing me and my beautiful wife and my cousin, my brother-in-law, who came here to see me receiving this award. I think it was a great journey. I could have not been here if not because of my God want to. I want to thank you for giving me this wonderful award. First, I would like to thank my wife who joined me here tonight and our medical advisor, Dr. Louis Cantal, who's a cousin of mine who traveled from Florida to be here with us. Without forgetting my brother-in-law who came from New Hampshire with his beautiful wife to be here with us too. It's a great pleasure, a very special honor for me to be among a group of people this evening who are dedicating to the issue that is so important to me, the global fight against cancer. It's so inspiring to see that we all believe that despite all of the obstacles on the way, one day we will be able to say that we have conquered the cancer. Not only in the industrial country like the United States of Europe, but also in the entire world. This dream is not impossible if we consider that with the involvement of many people, we have eradicated polio. I remember about 15 years ago, being on a small boat in the middle of Congo River with the ambassador of the United States, people staff from UNICEF and the Minister of Health, Rotary International, campaigning to reach the remote river village to vaccinate children. At that time, there were still new cases of polio, and the work was hard and exhausting. But I'm happy to report that the DRC is now considered a polio-free country. If you will allow me, I would like to briefly review what we have known about the prevalence of cancer in the Democratic Republic of Congo and make the case for urgent need to address this complex and challenging problem. I will follow up with the story that I am becoming involved in a battle of cancer, as likely as my son for a retired professional basketball player. The Democratic Republic of Congo, you have a population of more than 77 million people, and 35 million of them are women. 29 million women are average between 15 years old and older. That's the risk of developing cervical cancer. The information on the cancer for DRC is scary. Estimation is prevalence. Accident and mortality rate are based on extrapolate of data from neighborhood countries. Cervical cancer is the most common cancer diagnosis in DRC. Of all reported cancer, cervical cancer, you have the highest incident of mortality. We're talking about maybe 27.9 and 5 years prevalence. Economic challenge in the healthcare in the Democratic Republic of Congo, poverty, lack of access to the care, lack of access to the technology like mammogram, pathology services, radiology, chemotherapy, just include few. I started this journey during the course of 18 years of successful basketball career in the NBA. Although I played professional basketball, I never gave up on my goal to improve the health condition of the people in my homeland. So back in 1987, I created the Dikembe Mutombo Foundation, which is based in Atlanta. At that time, I decided to build the brand new general hospital in Kinshasa, which is the capital city. This hospital would have been the first new hospital in the Democratic Republic of Congo over 40 years. Believe me, it took me and the foundation 10 years of intense work, numerous challenges, but it's opened its door to the patient in December 2007. The vision of the Biamba Marine Mutombo Hospital, they have been to create a modern institution that will function according to international norm of excellence. And that will serve the catalyst to train healthcare providers, do the basic research, and promote community well-being to the outreach and board collaboration. Now, after 10 years of health services, treating more than 200,000 patients, we have evolved from concentrating on a communicable disease to non-communicable disease like diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and cancer. About 2 years ago, we were fortunate enough to be introduced Dr. Grossbach Parham that you saw in the video, a leading surgical oncologist on cervical cancer. Since his first medical mission to the Congo DRC last July, mostly more than 10,613 women was screening at the Biamba Marine Mutombo Hospital until today. During the same time, Dr. Parham along with his collaborator and colleague Dr. Michael Hicks, performed more than 17 cancer surgery on women. This just to name a few. And we are continuing to do more work. As I'm talking today, our team there's a new team who are arriving in Congo in the next 3 days. We might be able to move directly to more advanced treatment to reduce the patients who are suffering with cancer. Newly type of immunization treatment are now being studied. They will impact how we treat cancer in the future. Let us also learn that more in developing world that the treatment is available. All we need to do to put our resources together to serve the women of the continent of Africa, especially in the Democratic Republic of Congo. In my conclusion, let us continue this dialogue. Also see how can we collaborate by bringing all of our resources together to improve the health status of our women in Africa. If we don't do it, our continent will fail. Like our father, loving father, as we know, Mandela Madiba said, it's in our hands to make the world a better place for next generation. Let's go out and do it. Thank you.
People should be taking pictures right now. I'm kidding. But what I want to do right now is bring up Dikembe Mutombo's family, his beautiful wife, and his family to take a picture with the award. Where's Dr. Bois? Is he here? Yes, and everyone affiliated with Dikembe Mutombo and his family want to take a picture together, as well as the representatives with Dikembe as well.
Am I blocking you?
All right, give a good side, huh?
I'll see you tomorrow. Okay.